Okay, welcome back. This is Accounting 1. Today we are on Chapter 4 doing Lesson 4. And this lesson is called A Completed Accounting Form and Making Correcting Entries. Because sometimes, even though we try not to, we do make a mistake. So here you can see what a completed journal page looks like. This is the same thing that's on page 105 in your book. You can see everything in the post-reference column has a mark. There is something in everything but the totals, because the totals, everything down below has a mark so that you can see that they have all been posted. If you want to see the completed ledger pages, those are in your book on page 105 through 107. So let's see if I can show you this. Here they are. Cash, petty cash, and then the next 2 pages shows the rest of your ledgers with everything already posted for you. So we have discovered a mistake. So if there's a mistake, we have a memorandum issued. This is memorandum number 15, and it says a cash payment of $140 for advertising on October the 30th was debited in error to miscellaneous expense. So we accidentally debited miscellaneous expense, and we should have debited advertising. So I have prepared a journal page that you can put into your notes, and you've got a little label that you can put with it. So if you want to go ahead and put those into your notebook, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So November the 13th, discovered a payment of cash for advertising was journalized and posted in error to miscellaneous expense as a debit. So what we did wrong, we did a debit to miscellaneous expense, and we should have made a debit to advertising expense. Okay, this is easy enough to fix. But before we can put it where it should go, we're going to have to take it out of where it should not be. So this was wrong. So we put a debit to miscellaneous. So to undo a debit, we're going to have to do the opposite. So to fix that, so to undo, we're going to need to do a credit to miscellaneous expense. And then we're still going to have to come and do what we should have done in the first place. But first of all, we have to undo what we did that was wrong. So we have discovered this on November the 13th. So the date, we're going to pretend like we're already working in our journal, so I'm just going to skip down a little bit and go to the 13th here. So the account title. Well, neither miscellaneous expense nor advertising expense has a special column, so we're going to have to do both of them in the general. Now remember, in your general, you're going to do the debit account first. So we're going to have to do this one, and we're going to have to do this one. So which one is the debit? Well, it's this one, the debit to advertising expense. So we're going to put advertising expense on the top line. Okay, document number, how do we know this happened? Well, there was a memorandum, and it was number 15. So this is going to be M15. Okay, and we're going to do a debit of $140, just like we should have done back in October. Okay, now we have to undo. We're undoing with a credit, so the credit is to miscellaneous expense. I'm going to abbreviate that one. And the credit is for $140. Okay? All right. So if you make a mistake, you have to undo what you did and then do what you should have done in the first place. And remember, whenever you're recording it, you're going to put your debit on top. So that's all there is to correcting an entry. So if you take a look in your textbook, we're going to have one term, that is correcting entry. So over here, an incorrect journal entry should be corrected with an additional journal entry called a correcting entry. So I would probably write the vocabulary word as an entry to correct an incorrect journal entry. That's basically all that is. Okay. Audit your understanding questions. There are 4 of them this time. So what is a correcting entry? Well, we just did that with the terms. So you don't have to rewrite it if you don't want. When is it necessary? And then when is the amount is journalized and posted as a debit to an incorrect expense account? Why is the amount of the correcting entry debited to the correct one? And when an amount is journalized and posted as a debit to an incorrect expense account, why is the amount of the correcting entry credited to the incorrect one? Okay, you should be able to answer those. I just talked about that with the undoing and doing what you should have done in the first place. So that is the last lesson for this book. Tomorrow we will be doing the work together and on your own an application problem. And then I believe, yep, we're ready for the mastery problem, and we'll be ready for our test.